Thanks very much, Jay, and thanks for coming, everybody. We are truly a prospect project generator. We've stick to this business model absolutely rigorously since we started the company 8 years ago. Alaska's home base for me and a lot of my team. So we know that state very well, explore there. More recently, as Jay mentioned, we've moved into the state of Sonora in Mexico in a rather abrupt and forceful move. And then more recently was able last November to move into the Golden Triangle District of British Columbia in a very decisive move as well. So pure exploration company, project generator, hoping to follow in the footsteps of some of the most successful ones like Eurasian and Altius Minerals and Almaden. I don't like to just blow by this slide. I will make some forward-looking statements today. And you know, in exploration, things don't always work out the way one would think and predict. But I think Millrock has made a point of doing exactly what it says to do. It says it's going to do when shareholders entrust us with their money. So these are the things that you should look for as you're making investment decisions. Does management know what it's doing? Are the projects good? What commodities are they looking for? How safe are the jurisdictions they're in? And it's not that companies shouldn't go into more risky jurisdictions, but one should weigh those risks before investing. And do the projects have geologic merit? How tightly held is the shares of the company, the capital structure? Are they busy? Are they active explorers or mining companies? And as mentioned, we're a project generator. We stick rigorously to this model, and it's a pure exploration company. We don't actually ever intend to be a mining company. Our goal is to find a giant ore body and sell it to the likes of Barrick or Newmont or Teck. So early stage exploration, though, is the highest risk part of the whole mining industry. And so it naturally has the highest reward in the few times that we're successful in finding ore bodies. But by following our business model, we've tried to reduce some of that inherent risk in early stage mineral exploration. This is the sort of idealized, perfect life cycle of a mining share. Geologists in the beginning are working away, hoping to make a discovery. And if they do, then indeed the payoff is big. There's the first peak on the graph, but then so the speculators leave. There's time before the mine goes into production, and then the shares become valuable again once the mine starts to produce. So the generative model allows us to operate on 5 or 6 or 7 exploration projects at any one time. And that should increase our odds of successfully finding an ore body by the same number. We always get a partner company before we begin drilling. The drilling gets really expensive, and then if we have to sell shares in our company to finance that work, it'll soon go out of control. So we'll take money from you as investors, and we will develop projects, but before it gets to drilling, we'll invite other companies to come in and participate. So we only use your money to generate projects. This sort of describes the model running across the top. We do the earliest stage from research. We'll go in the field and check our ideas, and if we like what we see, we'll acquire the mineral rights and do a little more early stage exploration. But at any point, as soon as we can, we bring in the partner, form an option agreement, and then the partner starts to fund the work. And we actually start to make a bit of money at that point because we do the work and we charge a modest management fee to our partner. And so we derive a little bit of revenues from this work, and that helps to offset our overhead costs. So we can really stretch the dollars that you invest in our company a long way. If there is a discovery, then we'll either sell our interest in the discovery, or we'll carry along and contribute our share of the project in a joint venture situation and eventually become a minority owner of a mine. But we'll leave that to the miners. We'll stick to doing geology. So as I mentioned, we take your money as investors and we leverage it by bringing in money from mining companies that actually make profits. And we, over the 8 years of our existence, we've been doing pretty well at this. We've managed to multiply every dollar that you've invested to become $7 or $8 of actual mineral exploration, thereby increasing the odds that we'll be successful. Here's the basics on our company, though this slide is rapidly becoming out of date. We had roughly 1.3 million in cash, which is getting low, and so we elected to do a financing recently, and it's just being closed now. Similar to Richard's story, a year ago it was difficult to raise money, and this time the entire subscription was sold within an hour. And so we raised $3.5 million. So now we're well over $4 million in the bank, and that's enough to last us for several years. As I mentioned, we do have some revenue, and so we can stretch $3 or $4 million a long, long way. Though we will deploy about $1 million right away upon finishing this financing to acquire yet more projects. The window for us as a generator to acquire from others projects at a low price is quickly closing, but we're going to close some deals that we've been working on, and that'll set us up very well going into a bull market. So this shares after we have completed the financing will be 43 million shares issued and outstanding. Very tightly held by influential groups like Sprott Global and the Casey Fund, Mr. Tognetti at Haywood, and the Red Plug Capital Group from here in Vancouver. Not to mention other mining companies that have participated with us and have shares in our company as well. So I'm a geologist and a mining engineer, came up through the ranks of Inco. My partner Phil's a great geologist, parallel career working for the great Canadian company Cominco, now Teck. Phil's made some great discoveries in his career, not the least of which was the Pebble deposit in Alaska as a young man with Cominco. And he, as VP Exploration for NovaGold, really moved the Donlin Creek, Alaska gold project forward as well. So I really, these have been a really tough 4 or 5 years, but for a generative company like ours, they're really the best of times because we're able to stake up large tracts of ground that's been dropped by companies that run out of money, and we're able to buy assets from companies that were in a desperate situation. And so that's what we've done over the last 2 years. It was a tough rope to walk because we were never sure where the bottom was going to be and how much of our treasury should we bet. And so we did it slowly, sort of dollar forward averaging, picking up projects slowly over the last 2 years, but really never knowing for sure if the bottom was in and whether we'd be able to raise money again if we ran out. So it was been a bit nerve-wracking, but it was looks like the timing might have worked out, and we're ready for it to improve now, and we're very well set. So, it's one thing to generate projects, and our geologists are really good at it, but the more important part is to generate the partner that's going to pay for the exploration work. And we've been pretty good at attracting some of the best names in the industry over the years. And right now, Newcrest and Centerra Gold are actively funding work on our projects, and an Australian junior company called Vista Minerals. So we're actively exploring. We're busy working in a field right now, doing surface surveys and getting ready to drill. We should be drilling in Alaska this summer and in Sonora State, Mexico in September. And my goal is to have a drill turning on one project or the other over the next 2 years without any break. And it's, there's not too many junior pure exploration companies that can do that. And every drill hole is a chance to make that discovery that's going to take our share price from 30 cents to $3 and maybe even $30 if it's a spectacular discovery. So, the guys, the newsletter writers will tell you to do your due diligence on the company's projects and make sure they're good projects. And I think in Millrock's case, you really don't need to do that. Each of these companies has really good geologists. They know what they're looking at, and they're investing millions of dollars in our project ideas. So they have to be good projects to get over their hurdles. But as geologists, I can't resist telling you about some of the geologic details of a couple of them. As I mentioned, we're quite active in Alaska, my home base, Anchorage, and Newcrest is a partner on 2 projects called WP and Tibbs, and these are located just right on either end of the Pogo mine. Pogo is a fantastic vein gold deposit owned by Sumitomo, producing about 600,000 ounces a year very profitably. And since so many claims have been dropped over the last few years, we've been able to stake up great tracts, buy up tracts from other companies, and assemble district-scale land packages within sight of a headframe of a great mine. There's only been one mine discovered in this camp, and I can guarantee you there's going to be a lot more. One of our great pickups was these projects in the Golden Triangle. This is a really hot district in British Columbia. Pretium's a Brucejack deposit, just a great gold deposit, and we'd like to find one just like it. We're right on similar structures. You can see the red outlines of our projects. We had to put together 9 different deals with 9 different companies to consolidate these land packages and remove the royalties. And we did this in November of last year. And to get 9 people to agree to sign deals all on the same day under what I consider very favorable terms for our company couldn't have happened except at the very bottom of a market. And so we did that, and I just know these projects are going to pay off for Millrock. It's a really exciting spot to work. It's pretty high mountain country, and it's really a prospector's dream because the ice sheets, the glaciers are melting back, constantly exposing new mineral occurrences. No one's been actually on this property for 8 years, and it could be that easy that we could just find an ore body leaking out from underneath the glacier. So Centerra's actively financing our work in Mexico. Like I said, we're doing surface surveys now and drilling for gold in the fall. And these are the things that can make our stock move up. And it's trading at around 30 cents now. I think it's going to move up pretty well over the coming months and years in this market. All right. Thank you, Jay. Thank you.